Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to BOOcast number 12. I hope you're all very well.
Number 12 already. I had it wrong. Sorry, it's not our year anniversary yet. 12 is 12 months. Next month is our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Well, there's counting is so difficult, isn't it?
It's confusing.
But yeah. So welcome to the BOOcast, and tonight on the BOOcast we have a packed show for you. We're going to be having some things for you, including.
It's so packed that we decided to create this little rundown for you.
Yes, we do. So we've got lots of news. So we're going to be talking about NAMM. What's your favourite thing from NAMM? Did you watch all of the Sonic State output?
We certainly did.
Well, I certainly did, yes.
We watched Dr. Mix's visiting NAMM.
Dr. Mix visiting NAMM was lovely.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
And then we're going to be talking about Superbooth and also the album development, how things are going on. There's lots of good news there. Yep. We've got news for you. And then we're going to be talking about, went too far, Bandcamp Friday. We've got some recommendations for you. So if you have any recommendations, I'd really like it if you pop to them in the chat. Do it, put it in.
Definitely.
Tell us about what you've got on your music
or what you
radar.
Recommend, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And after that, we've got news about our gig. Last Saturday, we did a gig.
Not last night, but the night before.
Yes, and it was really nice.
Great.
We've got some pictures and fun to share with you about that. And after that, we've got
song stories, which I've put together a song stories about one of our songs.
And it's a really good one.
Short, but it's powerful.
And then there's the obligatory synth of the month. And then finally, at the end of tonight's show, we have a new song for you.
New song.
Which is a little bit exciting.
Yeah. There are developments in Booland.
We really do have an awful lot coming up for you tonight on BOOcast number 12, which starts right now. Excellent. So, how are you doing, Bridget?
Very well.
Very good.
I'm excited about all the things we have to share.
Yeah.
First off, we were going to talk about NAMM. So, you were helping out with the coverage for NAMM. So I
was helping out with the
Sonic
State for NAMM, and that was really nice.
Yeah.
Bear with me a second.
We both have our own favourites.
Did you have any favourite things from NAMM?
Andrew Kubichevsky says my favourite thing from NAMM was the IntelliGel Cascadia.
Oh yes, that was good. Is that still is it modular? Because it feels to me like IntelliGel basically make whole synths.
Yeah.
Think of that. The Atlantis is basically a SH 101, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, it is really.
Yeah.
I like that though. I like converting the modular units into a larger synthesizer. I think that's totally okay.
Let me show you a picture of the thing that made me go, oh crikey! It's sort of this. Yeah, the Polyend Tracker Mini, which is cheaper, I think, than the original Polyend Tracker,
and it looks like a Game Boy.
Well, it looks to me like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and apparently it's got double the memory, double the everything, and it's all very almost enough to make you want to go back to the 80s and 90s and pull out your Amiga or whatever the hell you did that tracking thing. Did any of you use trackers? Because I never did. I mean, I was explaining to you what a tracker was.
I had to get you to explain it because I was like, how's this different from like the MPC Live? And could we use it live? It's
kind of sort of digital computer-based sequencing before like Cubase and before sequencing.
Pre-DAW.
And it runs vertically and it's very exciting. It's very nice. Very nice indeed.
Well, the reason we thought it was pretty cool is because it's something that we could use live. We don't like using computers live. We like it to keep it hardware based. And we've talked about our live setup before. If you want to watch some of our
we do. But you had a favourite thing, didn't you?
I did.
Which was
my favourite was the Embodme E-Ray Touch mini controllers.
Yeah, let's see if we can find some
which,
film of
I mean,
that.
on their website, they kind of just show one. But you can program all sorts of patterns, like all sorts of visuals on the screen to do different commands, like to be a sort of a controller unit, and you can put them all together so they become sort of like a wall of interactive graphics and lights, and I'm not normally a huge fan of those sort of things, but this is so customizable. And it just looked really practical and useful, no latency, and they're affordable as well. As far as this type of technology goes,
looks
I think
really
it's pretty cool.
Looks really nice. It's quite expensive.
I mean, it's expensive, but it's more affordable than maybe it used to be.
What was the Yamaha thing from the past that had all those lights?
The Tenorion.
The Tenorion. Yeah. It was a bit like the Tenorion for the 2020s,
so
2030s, wherever we are now. But so those were some of the things. As I say, I was working with Sonic State, which was really nice, writing their stories. I got my first experience of using AI to write some of the stories, and
was it ChatGPT?
ChatGPT, and it was a very strange experience. It's a bit like having a very, very talented 8-year-old working with you. I mean, you've really got to watch.
Prodigy.
I mean, this thing basically just makes up companies and websites that don't exist, and also has no idea what's the most important thing of a piece of information. So, I don't know how much quicker it made the writing process. It was certainly entertaining and interesting.
So you've still got to audit it, basically.
Yeah.
Be the editor.
Yeah, we were totally. I mean, actually, I ended up basically writing it just the same. But for grabbing info quickly, it was pretty good. Anyway, what do you think about that stuff? I mean, have any of you used ChatGPT for anything? I got it to write a love song about a pylon from the point of view of a pilot.
Oh, was it good?
No, it was rubbish.
I got it to write about the Mona Lisa in the style of Captain Beefheart, and it just basically, the summary was, she's a real trip, man. It just put in man everywhere, and it's like, that's Captain Beefheart. Is it?
Summing up of Captain Beefheart there. Very good. But so that was that was NAMM. So we found that interesting. So if you have your least favorite item that happened in NAMM, tell us what that was. I've got a few, but I'm going to be kind and not mention them. Soma Terra. Yes.
Yeah. But as Wagyu said, we've seen it before NAMM.
Yes, we have, but it is a beautiful thing, isn't it? But isn't that just an FM engine inside it? I don't want to diss Soma in any way whatsoever.
Just an FM engine?
Well, I mean, I know. It's beautiful. It's very expressive. Clearly those lovely, whatever they are, brass nubbins over a lovely wooden thing. That's very nice. Yeah, the Soma Terra is nice. Octamed. Can't remember what that is. Gonna have to Google it quickly.
A few people got experience with ChatGPT here, and Wagyu was asking about a Spike Milligan TV show from the late 60s called Curry and Chips, and it got most of the details wrong, but when I corrected it, it acted like it knew all along. That's what I find really interesting, the personality of these things. Like, I was reading articles about Bing's one and how it turned kind of psychotic.
Yeah,
it's like, you've been a bad user. I don't like you. I don't want to answer any questions anymore.
I was arguing with the person about what year it was.
Yes,
saying it's 2023.
Right.
I said, well, it's not 2023, it's 2022. And I know this. And then it started becoming quite psychotic. It's all very science fiction and rubbish.
It's running ahead of itself.
But remember, this whole idea of artificial intelligence, actually, I believe it's just a load of can I say the
Gubbins?
word? Bollocks. I mean, it's just a massive database that it's pulling out of, and it's got some vague language ability. And although I must admit, the Bing one, the ability to become abusive is that shows a sign of intelligence.
AW says he read that it was trained from people chatting online. People don't admit they're wrong, so neither will it.
Interesting.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Didn't it take a lot of its data set from Twitter as well? So one of them did.
Yeah, that would contribute.
The hell are you going to end up with? Just like your recording of the human race just at its absolute worst. Brilliant.
Bung links. I'm going to bung links into the chat for the
bung
various
links
things
into the
stuff.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about we've got to talk about Superbooth as well. Unfortunately, Superbooth is coming up next week, and it's going to be brilliant. And sadly, we were going to go. We had our flights booked. We had everything, the Airbnb ready, everything, all our tickets. We've had to cancel because we've got some work and we can't afford not to take it.
Well, we made an executive decision. It's partly the work, but it's also partly things are gearing up in the studio. And we need to, it's May already. And we started this BOOcast to document us making album number 5. And we've been quite busy just making the BOOcast.
Yes.
But this month, that's all changed. We've kind of realized we need to give ourselves a deadline. We need to focus on it and get it done.
Yeah,
and
we did that special thing. And we'll be coming to our gig in Hastings in a minute. We'll talk about the band we were supporting. It may well be that we've absorbed some of their organisational skills.
Maybe. But we'd made this decision before we did go to the gig. And
we did make this decision first. Maybe we're getting the vibes. Oh, happy Beltane, everyone, by the way. And if you're a communist, which as it turns out, most of us are now, happy May Day. Workers of the world, unite.
Okay.
And all that. But yeah, so the album's coming on really well. We believe we have a finalised track list.
Well, yeah, we've definitely got the track list. They're still in various states of development. Still some parts need to be recorded, but we've got the core of it set, which has helped us. We've come to a title, which we'll share with you. We're not going to tell you yet. Yeah.
Sorry.
And that has helped me. Basically, once we got the track list, we had a listening session and I started sketching. I'd done some previous sort of rough ideas and they were not the right direction. So the best thing to do is always just listen. And I've been listening, sketching, finalizing. We've got a pool of artwork now that we're going to start developing. And it's all kind of, the boil is very much on now, and we are just going to focus over the next couple of months getting everything finished, leading up to...
I've never heard that phrase.
The boil is very much on.
Never. It's on the boil. I've never had the boil is very... It's great.
Well,
I love it.
It's like extra
I really like it. It's like, good. Is that passive voice? The boil is very much on. I don't know.
No.
Any English teachers out there might want to help. But yeah, so it's all looking good. And the artwork, if you don't mind me saying so, it's looking absolutely incredible. It's going to be beautiful.
It's exciting.
And the album's going to be great too.
Well, and our aim, so I was saying we're recording at the moment still. We've got to finalise tracks and we've got to mix, master. Eventually, what we want to do is take it to you live at a venue. We're going to perform a special sort of album launch gig. And we'd like... to endeavour to stream it online.
Yeah,
no promises yet.
We'll work on that.
This is very much just early germinations and goals.
Pretty harsh. We've got to find a venue as well.
We've got to find a venue.
But we're definitely going to have a live listen at the last one. And that, and we should say, I mean, we're looking autumn.
Yeah, we're thinking autumn.
And that's when that will be the last BOOcast.
Because this whole BOOcast thing was designed to document the creation of this album.
It may or may not be the last BOOcast.
It depends sort of how much demand there is for it and how burnt out we are by the end of creating this whole experience. We may just take a break and return. We'll see how it goes.
We do have to say that we love doing this. It's been great. It is it's a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of time. As you'll see,
it was a bit more work than we expected when we first thought we'd do it.
It was. We were going to do this weekly, but our very good friend Blanca told us, "Don't do that. You'll be dead in a month."
She was right.
She was right. But yeah. So anyway, that's great news. All good news.
Yeah.
And yes, and also we played a gig. Let me just find the stuff. And you can talk about it.
The gig. Oh no! First, we're going to talk about Bandcamp Friday. So we got a few picks to share with you of recommended releases from the House of Boo. Discotheque has a new maxi single coming out this Friday called Tiny Little Pieces. There's the exclusive artwork, which is not even up on their Bandcamp yet, but I highly recommend going to check that out this Friday. And yeah, we love their stuff. Finley Shakespeare's got a new album called Illusion and Memory. It's sort of his lead single, Teresa, really reminds me of sort of Travelogue era Human League, but with his spiky edge. It's great. I love his stuff. It's his third full-length physical LP, and there is a record, like a vinyl, available. And lastly, Office for Personal Development. These are the guys we played with in Hastings. So they've only got singles on their Bandcamp at the moment, but they are hoping to release an album in autumn as well. And maybe that leads into talking about the gig we played on Saturday.
Well, yes, do go and check them out. We had a great time. We had a real blast.
Awesome. And this is the first live gig in public that we've played for at least a couple of years, right?
It is, and
it
was great fun to do it. I'll just show you a few of the pictures. Yeah, we had a great time just being out there with the crowd, dancing around, shouting, screaming, pulling faces, having a lovely time. I got a lot of lovely feedback. It was just really nice to be in front of a crowd of people that didn't already know who we were. It was actually really lovely.
Loads of people had just kind of turned up not knowing quite what to expect and became Boo fans, which was lovely. Yeah, we got to sell some merch.
Absolutely great.
Hopefully some of them are here tonight. Hi, guys. I should say,
so offers for personal development are amazing. I mean, it was a kind of...
It was great.
I did say, I mean, we've done an interview with them, but I was a little bit stressed and freaked out as a...
We were in the middle of setting up.
What a bit of interesting parking moments happened just before as well.
On a hill.
And terrifying. And
it's the first gig we've driven to apart from that birthday gig.
Yeah. But we're going to put a link into the chat, are we, for the review? It was a really nice review by Nick Linusasoro, who thank you very much for coming.
I do have a link to that.
And it was great. They have a real shtick to them. They're basically like a slightly sinister self-development government department. And it was while interviewing them, I was quite. I didn't know who I was talking to because they were so in character, and they've got the colour scheme all the same. All the people that came to the gig got lanyards.
They had pamphlets, brochures.
It was like
I know. Laser water cooler. That was the best.
The laser water cooler. And I was thinking, oh no, this is it. We're all going to get brainwashed, and it was kind of a weird cultish kind of thing. I was
sold by the first song. I was like, you are in control.
Yeah.
I am in control.
But they were great. It was that kind of lovely time you get when you see a band that's great but also a bit frightening by equal turns. I love it when that happens. You don't quite know what's happening. It was so good. Really nice to play with it. I thank you very much, Office for Personal Development, for asking us to play. We'll have that interview unless it's a complete disaster, because I was literally
fine.
Well, I was literally quite, I was out of breath, stressed, and genuinely frightened by these people. But we'll get that interview to you soon. But those are our Bandcamp recommendations. So if you've got any, pung them in the chat. Do it.
Yeah.
Stick it in there.
Also, I should mention, playing live, as with the last one, things go wrong. Something always goes wrong. This time it was...
What went wrong this time?
This time, not only could I not get the right at the beginning of Nightclub Mishap.
Why was that? Because you couldn't count.
I ain't got rhythm. I can't count. I think we got out of sync with each other. And you know that thing when you meet someone in the road and you go, oh no, I'll go this way, and you just both end up crashing into each other. I did that. Even when the track did start, I ended up saying to Chris, by the time we were halfway through the first verse, I said, I'm sorry, we have to do this again because I ain't going to pick this up. But we started again, second song, and it was fine.
It was fine. And actually, do you know what? The audience came back afterwards and people were talking to people, kind of, we love it when things like that happen. Yeah. It's brilliant. We're just like,
it's live. Again? You know it's live when things go wrong. But that was also good because it was the second song. It's like, oh, well, that's out of the way now. Everything else is going to be fine.
And was it? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
God, it was fun.
Play in front of, a crowd that I'd paid to come in. Yeah. I mean, we've done a few gigs lately, and it's nice to play for friends and family and what have you. But yeah, really, really good. It was a life-affirming experience.
Yes. And we'll make it happen again, hopefully around late autumn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get the album finished as well anyway. So,
And speaking of playing live, I've just read a really good book that I think I found out about because Tracey Thorn has the new album, Everything But the Girl has a new album, and Tracey Thorn is in Everything But the Girl. And I found out she's written this book called Naked at the Albert Hall, and it's called The Inside Story of Singing. It's about kind of what singing is for a singer and for the listener, and it's really insightful. It kind of goes right into the whole mystery and mystique of singing and things that maybe the audience doesn't know about. And I thought it was really good. I like stuff that she was saying was that live performance is a two-way communication, and it's forged as much by the listener's memories and mood and emotions as well as the singer's performance. And it's like both elements come together to make live performance meaningful. And yeah, it resonated with me. So if anybody's interested in Tracey Thorn, Everything But the Girl, or singing, good book.
Yeah, I'd be interested to read it because I've read all of Patsy Rodenberg's books about voice for acting. I met Patsy Rodenberg actually a couple of times. Yeah, she's lovely. And she's a voice teacher. She's I can't remember where she used to teach, but an amazing, holistic, sort of really spiritual sort of, what does it mean to make a sound? Why you know?
Yeah.
It might sound a bit highfalutin and airy-fairy, but believe me, it's really visceral, gut level, like powerful stuff to.
It's very deep.
Understand.
And it's something I underestimated when we first started making music together. I just liked singing. I'd be like, la, 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 you know, like most people just like singing, unless somebody's told them, you can't do that, which is how most people get their art destroyed out of them. Everybody can make art and music. Anyway, I just was like, yeah, this is great. And then you reach a point where you realize there's technical aspects involved, there's physical aspects, there's all these different things you can train within yourself, but there's also... You can't be completely technical about it. You can't just like be a draftsman, because I'd been drawing before that and come from an artistic background. You can't just become totally technical and draftsman-like about singing because it becomes completely soulless, which I guess happens with drawings as well when you approach it like that.
It's an interesting thing about the technical versus the, you know, visceral side. There needs to be both.
Yeah, there does.
It's the same with acting. Some people are technically very good and other people are physically like gut level very good, and some people have got that balance, the two things perfectly.
I think it's quite hard matched with voice because it's so ineffable, and it's all these mysterious parts of your body working. Your whole body resonates when you sing if you control different parts of your body, and a lot of it feels obscured and mysterious and hidden, and people act as gatekeepers of these secrets to the voice and stuff like that. But you eventually learn your own relationship with your body and how you make sound, and it's a journey for every singer.
There's a whole load of what's the word? Not Mephistophelian. What's the phrase I'm looking for? The sort of Svengali.
Oh yes, the
type
Svengali.
Of characters. You know, like I've met some weird yoga teachers in my time. Oh, they just want to mess with your chakras, and they've just don't
let them touch
you know what I mean?
your chakra if you don't want them to.
No, and never let anyone touch your chakras unless you're totally happy to do it. Hey, Woody Piano Shack, hello. Hey, love you, man. That's really interesting because the voice, the human voice, it's a deep thing.
It is, and this is the best book I've read, actually, going into all those aspects of it for the layman or the singer or anyone.
Yeah. I mean, what was that? You were saying about people being told you don't sing very well and it sticks. And so,
that's a bit of Patsy I was talking about there.
Patsy.
Yeah.
There was also probably Jack Canfield.
She was told that. She was told she couldn't sing.
She was told she couldn't sing, right? Because the whole thing about, you know, there was some study in the 70s where they followed a group of children around with their parents and counted how many positive statements they received and how many negative statements they received, and it was like a ridiculous, like 10-1, 10 negative statements for every positive statement. I don't think you went through that. I think you had a really good upbringing.
I was very lucky. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
But it's one of those things. It's like it's very common for people to just have a negative view of themselves, and then basically you spend the rest of your life getting over that training, letting go of the training.
Well done to all those people who have and who create in spite of those, you know, setbacks. Yes,
absolutely. I mean, speaking for myself, I've always got an incredibly low opinion. I know it doesn't seem like it. I've learned how to look like. I look like this. I always think, why is anyone going to want to come and see us? Oh, God, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. But hey, I mean, I fool myself into thinking that's just an urge to strive to be better.
I think most artists have an aspect of that as well. The artist is never really satisfied with what they've done. There's always more to do.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, if you're satisfied,
you're finished.
Stop.
It's finished.
Are you satisfied? Then I urge you to turn off right now. Anyway,
no, don't turn off.
Don't turn off yet. We've got something else for you, and I'll hand over to Bridget.
Yeah, so I've done a song stories this month, and basically we were just watching some of our videos, and The Dissolve came on, and I thought, wow, there's quite a lot behind this song. I'd love to share the story of it.
What album's The Dissolve?
Oh dear.
Is it Yesterday, Tomorrow? No, it's Snare. Is it Snare?
No, it's Yesterday, Tomorrow and You.
Is it? Are
you
sure?
Yes, it is. I will put a link in the chat.
So organised.
We had everything prepared except for what album is The Dissolve on. Yeah, it's on Yesterday, Tomorrow and You.
Is it really?
Somebody will probably answer in the chat before we get there.
We'll just check. Why is that so slow?
So many tracks.
No.
Yes, it's track 13 on The Dissolve.
Anyway, so it's on Yesterday, Tomorrow and You.
Yeah, I've prepared a short film about it. So
are you ready?
Enjoy the film.
Here we go. Here's the film. Take care. Goodbye for the minute.
Stories.
Chris came to me in early 2019 with a demo called Orson. He'd written lyrics for most of the song, which spoke to me right away. I loved it, but he wasn't sure, so it hung around in this state for a while. It was only when we were whittling down tracks for an album that we decided to develop it. It was a bit monotonous and needed a big change at some point, so Chris wrote in a different musical section and I shouted some words over it a few times till we hit the right sound. That was pretty much it. This song was probably 80% there in the demo, and it was easy to complete because the feeling of it was so strong and specific. Chris has said for him it was about the changing face of London, in particular about Denmark Street disappearing. We've had some memorable nights at 12 Bar and the Alley Cat Bar nearby, and he's frequented the music shops there most of his adult life. The history of Denmark Street is intertwined with the history of British pop music. The shops downstairs sold instruments and sheet music, while upstairs were studios, agents, and managers' offices. The Melody Maker magazine was founded there in 1926. In the 70s, Bernie Taupin wrote the lyrics to Elton John's first hit single, Your Song, while sitting on the roof of Number 20. David Bowie camped in a converted ambulance outside Number 9, hoping to meet the right industry people to help make his break. Malcolm McLaren leased the outbuilding of Number 6, which the Sex Pistols used as a studio, while Steve Jones and Glenn Matlock lived upstairs. And just over the road was the London Astoria, which was demolished in 2009 to make way for the Elizabeth Line. The demolitions in this area for the Elizabeth Line also made way for the unsettling imposition of the Outer Net in 2021, owned by the predictably banally evil-sounding Consolidated Developments. At its cold LED heart is the Now building, which seems to be designed to drown pedestrians in screens. The Outernet CEO Philip O'Farrell describes it as the world's largest, most advanced atrium of content. Designed to capture bypassers, he goes on to say, if you spend an extra 30 seconds in my area, I can serve more advertising to you. The development has attempted to commodify the history of this place into something you can touch and be a part of, for a price. You can stay in session rooms at the Chateau Denmark Hotel featuring industrial concrete pre-vandalized with curated graffiti. Their website features star-studded anecdotes about the location, suggesting things like, maybe you can soak up some leftover Bowie stardust in one of our iconic townhouse apartments. Designed with statement pieces and textured features, these luxury apartments bring glam rock to a whole new level. Indeed. The Outer Net unfurls its tentacles right through what was the lifeblood of Denmark Street. Although there will be venues and some music shops remain, the rich cultural history of this place is not so much honoured as caricatured and repackaged back to you as a consumer experience, rather than a creative one. In the lyrics I wrote, I was also touching on the unjustness of the original inhabitants of gentrified areas being pushed out of their homes, specifically part of the Isle of Dogs becoming Canary Wharf. But that's a whole other story. The London I knew and that Chris knew has changed immensely over the years, and Denmark Street is just one part of it. We met in London. Our relationship, musical and otherwise, is embedded in its streets. London is a living memory bank to so many people. Its surface is constantly evolving as sections are knocked down and replaced. London is full of ghosts in every sense, and that's what this song is about. When it came to making the video, I storyboarded a rough idea while listening to the song. I wanted to be dancing on the roof of a building while the London skyline dissolved and reformed behind me. As usual, it was a little ambitious, so it needed to be scaled back to what could actually be achieved. For a while, I thought I would just go up and film myself against loads of brutalist buildings, a unique and emotive characteristic of the London landscape. But instead, I developed the filler ideas from the storyboard into something more fleshed out. There are the people, whose faces are pixelated. I was playing with a visual device at the time of replacing our own faces with static in all photos, the idea being that essentially we're all cosmic beings. In the Dissolve video, it was my way of showing spirits, or ghosts, and walking memories. There are the locations. All of these photos were Creative Commons images of London. I chose images which felt like my London, how London felt to me, but very few specific locations. I didn't want to make it too landmarky. Inspired by the images of London from Yellow Submarine and the look of Peter Kennard's photo montages, I treated every photo to look like old photocopies. Then there are the moving blocks of light passing over my face. I was very inspired by this piece by a video artist friend of ours, Francis Young, which shows vignettes of a city from a moving train. This merged with memories of various Saul Bass title sequences in my subconscious, and I just started playing with the shape and rhythm inside After Effects. We projected the animation I made onto my face, then overlaid the animation again in post. The final visual element is the pixel sorting. Pixel sorting is a form of video glitch art or data moshing, which sorts lines of pixels based on color or tone and creates a linear smearing effect. I bought a specific plugin for this called AE Pixel Sorter 2. I filmed some snippets on my phone of buildings near my office in Brighton, which looked like they could pass as London, and started playing with the plugin. It took quite a bit of finessing to get the right look. Black and white feels like the colour of memory and the past, so I made it monochrome. And that's how the Dissolve came together. It's an ode to London, to memory, to not being able to go back to the past and yet stumbling through it by accident while walking around an old city. It's the folding of millions of layers of time in resonant space. So this is the place where we had to meet.
Go. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought about it. Something I didn't say super clearly, but kind of comes across, is that I was thinking this kind of redevelopment is a form of classism because it takes spaces that were once occupied and driven by people from all walks of life and puts them behind a velvet rope. Because I think the artists that are going into this space have a lot of money behind them. That it's not like the platform for up-and-coming people that it once was.
Yeah, I very much did interested by that piece of artwork on the wall.
There was all sorts of bizarre sort of satanic imagery throughout that hotel. It's really weird.
Art for the lizard people, everyone.
There was like there was a neon that says, "We are all sinners." It's like,
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are. Fantastic. Good luck with that. By the way, I met Peter Kennard. Sorry, I'm name-dropping quite a lot on this show. Well, it was at art school when he came and saw my work.
Good school.
Yeah, it was. And
to
I was
quote some like it hot. Good school.
Yeah. The Sheboygan Conservatory.
Yes.
But yeah, no, he was great. It was his photo montage stuff's fantastic. And I was at the time doing sort of burnt photographs onto bits of wood, and he was going, that's a bit like what I'm doing right now. Is it, Peter? Ooh. But yeah, obviously I'm not an artist anymore. I've stopped.
I first saw Peter Kennard's work at the Tate Modern. It was great. Just like going through there, they had a temporary exhibition, and it was just one small room, and it was lined with his photographs, and they're brilliant.
Because it's very much the it's the CND imagery and the whole, that political stuff. I mean, that all comes from the 20s as well. I can't remember the photo montage stuff from the Weimar Republic
I can't remember names right now either.
No, nor can I. Sorry, maybe you can. But no, but thanks for that. That was really interesting. And it's I thought you might find it interesting too.
Marcus Stuff said he bought a Yamaha SY35 in Denmark Street years and years ago and had to get it home on the underground.
Oh wow, lovely.
It must have been quite big.
I mean, we were in Denmark Street last year. We saw the opening of the Roland store, which is great. It's good that there's a new music store opening there.
The music stores that are there are thriving, and it's really great that they've kept them. It just feels like they've been kept as a vestigial notion rather than as the thumping heart.
I had a really sad, have got a heart-rending, painful for me anyway, story about Denmark Street. Well, around it was actually Charing Cross Road. It was a music shop. I was walking home from work one day, and I popped in, and there was an Odyssey Mark 1 for sale there, a little white one, and it was there, and they wanted 250 quid for it.
What year was this?
That was 2003 or 4, and I was utterly broke. I know. 250 quid.
Oh well.
Oh, God. Oh, well. But hey, we've got the Korg, the Carp Odyssey now, and I had to get the white-faced version of it with the coloured knobs because just to make myself feel better. But so I did, If
you want to learn more about... there's a really good video by this guy called John Rogers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Do you know John Rogers?
You can explain who John Rogers is.
John Rogers is a sort of psychogeographer, videographer, blogger person. He does videos about walking around London. And I first encountered him maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I just stumbled on a video, and he was walking up the road I walked to school on. And I was just like, what? And I just started watching his stuff. And it's absolutely brilliant.
It's great.
Really nice. And all about the history and the soul of the place. And he goes to the not touristy places at all and we get all kinds of interesting stories about bits.
What's his favourite bit? That sort of edge of the edgelands.
It's the thing of edgeland. He does one of his longest videos. He walks up the River Lee all the way from the centre of London up to way beyond Waltham Abbey. And I think and it's like a sort of like massive 10-hour walk. It's not a 10-hour video. I think it's about 45 minutes, but it's magical. It's just it really good stuff. Psychogeography.
So I'm recommending a video by him that he talks about the campaign to save Soho and to save Tin Pan Alley, and it's from 2015, so it's kind of an archival documentary now of what people were trying to do to save it at that time. And it's nice to see.
I'd really like to get John Rogers to come down here and do New Haven.
Oh, yeah, we are all edgelands.
Because this is edgelands. We've got all kinds of industrial stuff happening. We've got the port.
And the countryside.
We've got the scrap heap. We've got the countryside.
We've got
the beach. We've got the river. There's a lot of stuff here.
There is.
It's an interesting...
We should reach out to him.
Maybe we should do it.
Maybe we should give him one of our...
Maybe we should go for a walk.
Maybe we should go for a walk.
No, you can give him a shout.
You can see how much like the creative neurons are firing in the studio at the moment. Everything is possible.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. So check that out if you want to see more.
Have we had any nice any comments we need to
we have
talk
had
to?
A few.
Thank you for being there.
I think Wagu said also he had to lug his SY77 back on a train when he bought that.
Ooh.
Wagu also said that the Thames Mead from A Clockwork Orange has been mostly gone in the last few years.
Yes, I've heard about this.
I didn't know
it's
that.
It's kind of disappeared, lots of it. There's some of it still remains.
Think it would be protected.
Well, yes, you'd think, but I mean, surely some of it was listed. I mean, if you don't know what Thames Mead is or was, it was a very brutalist sort of modernist kind of architectural experiment, really. From when was it built? 60s, 70s?
Yeah,
I don't know.
60s probably because it's in Clockwork Orange.
But yeah, and it's this sort of housing development on the east of London. I think it's south of the river. Or was it just north? I can't remember. But if you've seen Clockwork Orange, you've seen Thames Mead. Quite a bold bit of architecture, but going. Yes,
yeah,
I've heard this. And I mean, lots of London is changing enormously. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have memories of Denmark Street and that whole area. I mean, I lived just up the road from there on the top of Tottenham Court Road, and going back is a strange experience because there's, you almost wouldn't know where you are sometimes, and then suddenly you'll pop into an area that is the same. It's like, sudden recall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what the Dissolve's about, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, Tony Ham has showed up in the chat. Hi, Tony. Thank you for the photos.
Hey, yes, thank you.
They were Tony's photos that we were sharing earlier.
Lots of them were.
Half of them were. Yes, thank you. And nice to see you here. Welcome to the Boo family.
Welcome. Join us. We're not going to make you sign any documents like the Office for Personal Development might, or make you wear turquoise.
Yeah. Open.
Maybe we will. I don't know. Turquoise is a good colour.
All the talk of the boil made Wagyu think of How to Get Ahead in Advertising with Richard E. Grant.
The boil.
That is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's very odd. It's all about a boil.
I was going to say, Wagyu, you've got an astonishing knowledge of British
culture.
Yeah.
Britisharnia.
Britisharnia.
Like Narnia.
Yeah, there was something else you said earlier. I can't remember what it was.
You said Dreich, which was
You said Dreich?
Yeah. Dreich, that's one of the first Scots words I learned as a kid. Dreich.
Yeah. Hey, where'd you get all this from? It's fantastic.
Andrew Gibachevsky said, please don't stop the BOOcast. And Stefan last said, do them when you have time. You don't have to do them so regularly, just when you have something to talk about.
Yeah, but it's like feeding time, isn't it?
Feeding time?
Well, yeah, no, when you've got a regular thing that's happening, it's good.
I think regularity is good. Well, in terms of the algorithm, it's good.
You're saying regularity is good, aren't you?
Yes, we must all keep regular.
There's a message for all of us. Very good.
Before we go on to the next section, you have discovered a wonderful free plugin.
Wait a second. Yes. Where is it?
It was in the process of sort of mixing recent tracks which are coming to completion.
I'm just going to say, I like this. Have you ever seen it? It's like a limiting amplifier, it's got a little knob in it. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. You can zoom on that DC threshold thing. You can go between compression and limiting, and it's got various release values and stuff, and an AC thresholds a thing. Blah blah blah. It's got a side chaining thing there. Whoops! What have I done? Clicked on something else. But it's It just sounds really, really nice. I've been using it a lot lately. It just makes everything sound very, very, very lovely. It's very good on bass.
What did you say it was modelled on?
Someone's saying it's a Fairchild,
rack unit
6 something. But I don't know how true that is because I can't. But it's really good. It's free. Give it a go.
Yeah.
If compression is your thing, and it should be your thing. Compression's great.
I'll pop a link for that in there if you want to pick it up for yourselves.
Having a moment here.
And then in other news, we've created Synth of the Month t-shirts and posters. So if you want to grace your balls with the bizarre synth monster that appears in the title segment to Synth of the Month.
It's about to come up. So we're doing Synth of the Month now. Yes, you can buy a t-shirt.
Or a poster.
I
would like to say that if to anyone who thinks it's objectifying women, I did make a male version as well. I just didn't have time to complete it.
You did a much more sexually provocative version as well.
I did lots of sketches. There was one of the woman twiddling the knobs on the synth, and it was too much. It just looked obscene.
And if you want to see the male one, give us a shout in the comments. Maybe we'll change it for next month.
Yeah, maybe I'll make it. Because I've still got the sketches for it.
We've had the woman for long enough, haven't we? Yeah. Let's do a man. Anyway, so here we go. Synth of the Month. The BOOcast Synth of the Month is the Roland MC-202 microcomposer.
Founded in 1972 by engineer and inventor Ikutaro Kakahashi, Roland's first product was the Rhythm 77, a preset drum machine in a wooden case designed to sit atop your organ. This began Roland's large range of drum machines and other things with a pulse. And it's thought that all this stems from Kakahashi-san's childhood fascination with repairing clocks. After the early synthesizers, amplifiers and other things which erupted from Roland in the 70s, Roland released the MC-8, a pioneering digital sequencer, in 1977. It was designed to give 8 tracks of sequencing to get all that kit under control, and it cost a small fortune. In 1982, Roland released the TB-303. Initially marketed as a tool for guitarists to practice along with, it found its true calling in electronic dance music of the 1980s and 1990s, and by now ridiculously high prices are commanded by this small, squelchy silver slab of plastic. Then, in 1983, Roland introduced the MC-202, a compact and portable analog synthesizer and sequencer. It was designed as a more affordable and streamlined version of the Roland MC4 and MC8 sequencers, and included what is basically a cut-down version of the SH-101. Kakahashi-san once said that his experience repairing clocks taught him how to design and build electronic instruments that were precise, reliable, and easy to use. But does the 202 live up to this dream?
Here it is, this little grey darling. And doesn't it look an awful lot like an SH-101? And in fact, it kind of has the guts of an SH-1 inside it, minus the noise, and maybe minus one or two other things, I can't remember which. But it's got the same sort of architecture and the same components and the same bits inside, and it sort of sounds like one. So yeah, let's start with the VCO. So we've got one oscillator and a sub-oscillator tied to it. We've got a square wave. Let's turn that up. I'll just kill the echo a bit. So we've got manual control of the pulse width. Whoops. You can also control it via the envelope. And we've got the obligatory pulse width modulation via the single LFO. Rather nice, and it does its thing. We've also got a mixer here, so we can mix in the three waveforms, the two waveforms and the sub that come out of the single oscillator chip. So here we go. There's a saw. And a sub, which goes 1 octave down with a square, 2 octaves down with a square, and 2 octaves down with a narrow pulse. And bringing them together is rather lovely. There's a range selector switch, which is a little bit unwell on my particular model. It occasionally craps out slightly, but and then we have a modulation level, which is connected to the LFO, and the LFO has a delay. Which is useful for those eye-soaring, delightful, heart-rending solos. Now onto the filter. So the filter is very familiar looking. So it's a Roland 24 dB filter. Let's go low. And the resonance, as you'd expect, if we bring it up. Very nice filter. The The filter has envelope amounts. And modulation amount, which comes to the LFO. I've got the delay time on, let's take that off. And we've got the keyboard amount, which adjusts the filter up and down the keyboard. And yes, you can play. Let's take that mod off. And the envelope off. More or less tracking, I think. And we can bring that in. With the oscillator to get that kind of thing. We have a single envelope here which deals with the VCA and the VCF, and when you select it, the pulse width of the oscillator. Now, when it's dealing with the VCA, you get that thing where you've got the filter closing, but the VCA dies away as well, because we're dying down to nothing here. But you can switch it from the VCA connected to the envelope to a sort of organ envelope there, which allows you to hear all those frequencies as it goes down. So that more or less does it for this synthesizer. So it's actually really simple, and it's very similar to the 202, sort of a cut down 202. And you can't help but notice, whoa, what's all this? So we've got these plastic keys. We've got 2.5 octave plastic, very similar to the Casio VL1 keys, but they're kind of rubbery little things. And there's a little bit of dirt. I should have given this a clean first. Never mind. But the whole point of these keys is not to play them, because we do have CV and gate in and out. The whole point of these is to program it. It's a micro composer, and I'm just going to turn it off and wipe its little memory and turning it on again. Yep, it's that kind of thing. Now, this is a notoriously difficult, complicated and irritating little thing to program, unless, of course, you're doing things like this. In which case, it's very easy. You press play, and then you hold shift and press cycle, and it'll loop through it. And you're free to do things on the synthesizer. But anything more complicated than that, and it gets a bit tricky. So yeah, we've got these two buttons here, play and edit. So play obviously means play, and you can play the keyboard by hand. It's a bit small and fiddly and rubbery and a bit unpleasant, and sometimes feels a little uncertain. But yes, in this little window here, we've got these numbers, various things going on. Okay, so that tells you where the cycle's attached, and then we've got battery, portamento, accent, and then this side we've got a play, and then if we go to edit, you can edit the pitch, edit the step, edit the gate. And you can do them separately. So what I tended to do, because I really am quite a lazy sod, I'll just take this off, is, you know, get yourself a little sound you like. Whoops. And it turns on in pitch edit mode. So you need to remember to press play. So you can have a little practice. And then if you go to edit, you can put the pitch in. There we go. And then we go straight to play, hit cycle. And we've got a tempo knob here. No indication of what speed you're going at. This is all pre-MIDI and so then you can continue to edit. So we go to edit step. I think, yeah, you can actually edit the notes coming in. We'll edit the step now. So we've got these notes along the bottom, so we can go for that. And various legato, tie, staccato. Put a few rests in. Literally, all I would do is randomly put these in. Go to play. Very much hit and miss affair, as you can hear. Now you can add portamento and accents, and you can change the length of each note from arrest to staccato, non-legato, legato and tie. And you've got all these different note values underneath, which you can change the speed of the way it's playing back in per note. It's a nightmare. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just maybe add some. Let's go back. Yeah, we're at the beginning. Back and forward takes you back and forward through the steps. That takes you back and forward through the measures. So let's have a. So now we've got this. You notice this button here, it says channel. We've got another sequence we can use on top of that one, so. And we'll play that. That's the first channel. So yeah, it's got two sequences inside. You can take one of them and connect it to an external synth and play the two notes at the same time. I'll just do that. So I've, it took me ages to remember, but I've stuck two sequences in here. So one of them is going. And the other one's going other channel. Like that. And I have connected channel 2 via CV and gate to VCO2 of the Malevolent. Turn this down so you can hear that. And together we can do this. So that's the Roland MC-202 Micro Composer. Thank God there's an upgrade to this sequencer. I might even invest in it because it sounds great, but the sequencer really breaks your head unless you've got a spreadsheet on hand. Thanks for watching.
Fond memories for some there.
Yeah.
We had Ian J. Cole used to own the MC-300 microcomposer.
It's another sequencer.
Yeah, and Nicholas Bryant used his 202 in the 80s, synced with a 606 on Fostex X15 and found it made songwriting easier.
Right.
Briefly used a friend's 202, but it did not sound the same.
Wow, that's interesting. I had a 606 for a while as well. That's a great drum machine. I miss it terribly. So simple, but it's got a vibe.
Yeah.
It does its thing, really. Ooh, it's great.
But that programming on the 202.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I did diss the 202 a little bit there. To be honest, I haven't even touched it for quite a few years properly. And I literally, I did remember basically how to program it, but I think I made quite a few mistakes. I think you have to do the gate and the step separately, and there's something else. And that there is also a metronome, and you can play live, but like playing live with the little rubber keys is quite. And also there's something else about it. You can play the synth from an external synth, an external keyboard to play it, but there's something to do with the there's a timing thing inside it, and there is a mod you can do. Basically, it doesn't actually respond exactly correctly unless you go in, open up the 202 and cut one of the traces. And what you can do is take the trace and put it out and put it into a switch, so you can switch it in and switch it out. And when you switch it out, when you cut that trace and it's not connected, then you can control it seamlessly from an external synth. Anyway, it all got a bit scary.
Why didn't they just make it like that in the first place?
Oh, it was the 80s. And you know what? I mean, at the time, it was pretty bloody amazing to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, kids today, honestly, you don't know you're born.
Well, AW was saying he remembers editing whole songs in a Casio CZ5000, which seemed easy at the time, but just doesn't have the patience for it anymore.
Yeah, it's got a multi-track sequencer, is it? I can't remember. Can you tell me in the chat? I may have got that wrong. Yeah, the things I used to go through, and I didn't mind. It was just like...
If it's all you've got, then you make it work, right?
Yeah. I thought easiness. I think it's become, less about being enamored with the technology and more about being interested in being able to get the ideas down quickly. But still using electronic instruments, and that has become a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, Wagyu remembered it was a confusing picture round in the Sonic State Christmas quiz because it looks so like the SH-101.
Yeah,
it would have been. I remember that little vignette.
I think we got that question right. I know, Wagyu, you're the Sonic State Christmas quiz champion of champions, aren't you?
I think
you got them. You did get that one right, though. I'm sure you did.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Nicholas Bryant, just going back to talking about lugging things home from Denmark Street. Nicholas Bryant got 2 Ensoniq SQ80s from Bedford via train and bus and a 4-mile walk home to Suffolk.
Oh, lovely.
That's amazing. I love the lugging stories. We've all done a fair bit of lugging.
Oh yeah.
For gigs, for
Well, it was really nice
stuff.
to drive to that gig in Hastings.
Luxury.
It was actually almost luxurious.
Except for the parking, which
Except
was
for the parking,
terrifying.
which was exciting. Exciting bit of parking.
Vaku had a really brilliant idea. I'd love if Street View incorporated historical time periods generated from old photographs. That would be amazing. So if you were looking at Denmark Street, you could just cycle back through the decades as far as there was photographic evidence.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of shops like Gabby's surely has gone. Was that Charlotte?
That was nearby.
Charing Cross down the road?
There was a campaign to save
fantastic
Gabby's.
falafel shop that was there for forever, and it was a classic place. There's all actors and the theatre crowd used to go there.
I wrote to is it the Duke of Sainsbury or the Lord of Sainsbury? I can't remember. I wrote to him saying, keep it open, it's important, because that whole area, again, it was just turning into glass-fronted sort of chains instead of
How did that work
places. They did keep it open.
Because of your letter?
Not because of mine. There was
That's
a big
awesome.
campaign and lots of actors were involved.
Yeah.
But I'm sure my letter was the swinging
I
factor.
do miss those falafels. They were absolutely
great.
brilliant. Yeah.
Storm Spirit said really enjoyed the dissolved, but it would be really cool to hear about passing places. That's got some stories behind
an
it
old song.
too. So that's a good suggestion. Thank you. And if you guys have any other suggestions, let us know. The song stories take a little bit longer to make, but we'll keep trying to get them on there and make ones that you want to see. So thank you for the suggestion.
I've got a funny feeling Passing Places is a song about a cat.
Don't say now.
Oh, sorry.
Spoiler alert. AW says it's his birthday too. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Who else's birthday is it? I couldn't see in the chat. But happy birthday, and I hope you've had a wonderful day.
So AW is...
I don't know. So here's the thing, actually. In the credits, we put all the boosters' names in the credits. And I've used your usernames because I don't know if you want your actual names used or not. So I'm going to say AW just in case you don't want your real name used. Because you got to respect people's... they might want to be anonymous.
Okay, I may be completely wrong, but we've got a remix up
We
on our...
do. That's a good connection.
And is it AW?
AW has done a remix for us. So on our Bandcamp, we post all sorts of goodies for our subscribers, or as we like to call them, boosters. Hello, boosters. And thank you for your support, because it really helps us do what we do every month. It means a lot. And hopefully you enjoy the stuff that we share with you, which includes stems, for which we've got 2 remixes now. We've got Steve Meets Bella and the Some C Stupid Name Group Nonstop Geriatric Something Mix, which we just heard today. Is really cool and ghostly.
Yeah, it's up there and you can see it. I mean, you can post... If you do a remix from the stems, you can post them in the comments. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys
can
make new posts, but you can reply to ours. So if you just reply in the thread for the stems that you used,
so there's one there.
Then other people can see them as well.
If you haven't subscribed to us on Bandcamp, it's $3 a month. £3 a month.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of stuff. You can get stems, exclusive demos. We've just put up EP number 5 today.
I think I haven't actually made that public yet, so I'll do that.
Okay, we'll make that public immediately. But that's so unreleased tracks that basically we love and everything. You also get is it 10% off everything?
10% off, I think. And
all merch, and you get all the digital downloads for free.
Yes.
So you get
all new releases free.
It's worth trying.
Cocktail recipes.
Don't
forget the cocktail recipes.
All kinds of things. And also, after 6 months, we've decided if you support us for 6 months, you get one of these for free.
Boo Peter badge.
Yeah. Very coveted item.
They have to be owned.
Yes. And Gary, I hope you're wearing it well.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming to the show. Yes, and Paula. Yes, and thanks for joining us. But yes, if you haven't subscribed, do it, or consider doing it. Don't want to push it too hard,
pressure.
but it's kind of worth it. There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. We try and make it worth your while. So we're going to close out this BOOcast with a new song for you, and this is one that we performed at the gig. It was loads of fun to perform, and will be on the album. So. Yeah, let us know what you think. I hope you enjoy
so once
it.
again, we think the album's going to be coming out
Autumn. We're aiming for autumn. Yeah. We got deadlines. We need to arrange a lot of things.
Could be sooner, but we've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
As you may know, if you're not sure what we're doing, go back and reference the Boo's PR advice for musicians.
Yeah. We got to do all that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, thank you.
Recording it first.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's really tempting to
just share stuff as soon as it's kind of, because we do have a few tracks that are they're
bangers,
but
man.
they will change, because once we finish other tracks we may change the mix.
It's true, so we don't know what's happening. We're in that period, in that weird transitional phase.
It's very exciting, and it's so wonderful to have you here on this journey with us. I'm sorry it's taken till month 12 for things to really get moving,
and that's ridiculous.
But
really.
It's really finally happening.
But hey, I just thought next month's BOOcast that's going to be our 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
So it'll be a birthday party for the BOOcast.
Boo birthday.
We'll try and work out something. A quiz.
Maybe a quiz.
Cocktails.
It's pretty. Yeah.
How about a little dance around behind us? Have a dance.
Oh, can we bring in the lasers?
Bring the lasers. Have a dance.
We bought lasers for the gig.
Come and dance with us. But yeah, so it's a year birthday next month. So do come and join us again.
Definitely
Thank you very much for joining us this time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We certainly did.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yes. Thank you. And now a new song.
Enjoy.
Okay. Goodbye for the moment.